Coach, how are the summer workouts going? How have you learned about your team so far?
Every day we just continue to get better. We have so many new people and people that just haven't played, in this system. So we learn something new about them every day, multiple things new every day. But I love just their work ethic, their togetherness, how coachable they are. They're eager to learn, and we're really together. For a new team, I just feel like pretty connected. So I'm loving our progress. But it's going to be a long journey. We're going really, really slow with everything this summer and putting everything in. So it's going to take some time, but I love where we're at.
Is there a new perspective of practice doesn't go well and you're like, well, we could have 5 players like we did at times last year? Or?
Last year, put a lot of new perspectives into a lot of things for me. And, you just got to, I told them again, you got to just continue to, everyone stay ready, take care of your bodies, because you just never know what's going to happen. And we found that out last year. And, it's nice. We also, you saw we have Jen and Dal out here that can come in every once in a while and practice. So that's helped us out a lot. And, I think for the younger guys to see them and hear some of that stuff. So again, it's going to be a process in this journey. And we still don't have our whole team here. We still have some key pieces that are playing with their national teams right now. So just trying to get better each and every day.
Would you like to exit the summer kind of knowing what kind of team you have, or have you, in your experience, have you found the summer answers a lot of questions for you?
Yes and no. I think obviously this is such a different type of year. It's almost kind of like the first year when, there's a lot of people, you watch, you recruit, but until you get them in your system, it's just constantly learning, and then seeing number one, how they learn, how they adapt, how then when you go live, how they put it into that situation. So we're going to learn a lot, but I don't think we're going to know our team, going into September. I think we're going to evolve, especially, like I said, without having some pieces here. My main goals for this summer have been, number one, to get healthy, to have everyone fully healthy going into the fall when we all get back. And then number two, getting them to understand how to work consistently at an elite level. We talk about one way all the time. How do you work like that? How do you come and approach, from the mental aspect, from the physical, from the recovery, from, the holistic approach of this? How do you go about your business? So those are things we're trying to get instilled and teach. And that's kind of the culture is the most important thing right now. And then the just basic fundamentals of how we do things.
What's it been like to have Jazz and Gretchen and Barry around veterans that kind of add to incorporating these new pieces in?
Yeah, they've been key. They know what it looks like. They know what it feels like. They've done a really good job. They've even progressed. I mean, we've been here now 3 weeks. I can see their leadership evolving even in that short of time, where they're starting to find their voice. They last year, they didn't have to really speak up. It was just they were there, they listened, and they could follow those older guys. Well, now, there's none of those voices, so they're learning and feeling every day a little bit more comfortable with finding it and being vocal. So that's been fun to see too. Again, we're not where we want to be in any area. But as long as we're consistently growing every day, getting better, understanding more, that's what it's all about.
How does the mindset differ where you're taking now maybe like a little bit more so baby steps as to when you get closer to the season where you're going 75, 80, 100% in practice?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I kind of go back to how we were when we came here in that first year, when we were trying to establish what our core values are. We were trying to establish our culture, how we do things. It's similar to that now, just again instilling all of those, learning our core defense. We got our defense is pretty simple, so we already got our core defensive principles in. Our offense is just what we're going to go really, really slow with, and then again, we're going to go hard. There's no question about that, whether we're going an hour, whether it's June, July. It's just about, again, how last year we were scrimmaging, we were going 5 on 5 at this time for 2 weeks now. Like, we haven't done any really 5 on 5. So we don't have enough, number one. But number two, we're not ready for that yet.
So what do you hope the handful of players playing for their national teams take at it? I mean, I know if they're not here with you, but they're still playing high level basketball.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm hoping is that they take, they're competing at a high level against, really good players. And they're actually playing where they're getting up and down more than what we're doing. Now, you know, CC, it's a little bit different. She's been in the system for a little bit, but and Irene as well. But Manuela, you know, that's where we'd love to have her here. But she's also right now, I mean, she just played with, you know, pro. She has WNBA players on her team. She's playing with Cardoza. You know, I mean, you can't get much better of a big to learn from. So what I told her is take it all in, learn from all those guys, learn from what it looks like to be a pro, and then, you know, carry that back over. I know they're eager to be here too. But you know, I'm proud of them for doing, you know, what they're doing, and I think that they'll learn a lot from it.
Gretchen Dolan saw her season cut short with an injury, how she's doing physically, and I know as someone with starts under her belt, you're looking for a much bigger role from her this year.
Oh yeah, I mean, Gretchen's gonna, you know, she's gonna have a huge role, and you guys saw what she's capable of doing, and she's been practicing great this summer. Just really looks good. But we're also being really cautious with all of our people coming back from injuries. We're being very cautious. If she needs a day off, we're going to give her a day off, and just try to bring them. It's not worth it. I don't need her, you know, July 9th. I need her, you know, December 9th and January and February. So we're being really smart. That's probably one thing, you know, I've learned from last year too. Like, okay, I don't want to be like, you know, overly cautious, but we're gonna take them slow.
How exciting is it for you to go see Kendall get a job with the administration here and continuing to, you know, be a face around campus and somebody that, you know, girls around here can look up to?
It's been awesome just to see, you know, her next step and be able to see it, right? A lot of these times when you coach someone, then they go off and get a job somewhere else where you're not able to witness it. So her first week on the job, we were up in Chicago at events together. So I was there with her, and then yesterday we had our first meeting. She called the meeting, and it's our first like professional meeting. It was weird. I'm used to like starting it, running it, you know, talking about basketball, asking her like our normal individual meetings. And yesterday it was kind of nice. I just let her run it, and so that was a full circle moment there, but it was really cool. So she's gonna be unbelievable in that job. She has a great passion for this university, passion for student athletes. So it's gonna be fun to watch her continue to excel in now that next chapter.
What have you seen from Destiny so far? Is she up there with the best incoming freshman that you brought in?
You know, I never want to put that on anyone, because being a freshman's totally different. And right now, you know, both of our freshman point guards with her and Aaliyah is so much information, you know, and it's just, you know, Aaliyah coming from Iowa, it's totally different because they do stuff different than we do. Destiny come from high school is totally different. So the main thing that I love about both of them is their willingness to learn, their willingness to be coached, their work ethic. They're constantly trying to, you know, have film sessions and learn. And so that's been fun to see. But, you know, again, as a point guard, freshman's hard to do any time, but as a point guard, it's even harder. And we need both of them because we don't have that veteran point guard. So they'll grow, and I try not to put too much pressure on them, but love where they're at right now.
Speaking of Aaliyah, just, you know, it's been a key part of your tenure, just keeping relationships alive on the recruiting trail and players coming back to you. What's been the key to that, and that your coaching staff's been so successful at that?
You know, I just think it's relationships. It all comes down to that, right? And there was we were loaded in that position when she was making her decision, and I get that. And sometimes I actually think it's good for some people. I don't want to lose them the first time. That's probably, I shouldn't say this on. But sometimes it is when they get another experience and we get them back. You know, I think that they come in with a different approach. They're very grateful. So, you know, we've had success with that. We've had success with getting kids the first time and then being a really good player. So it all comes down to relationships at the end of the day, and the need. And we needed that, and she was in the portal, so it seemed like a natural fit.
What's your approach with Letty this summer? Just not only physically, but mentally, just making sure she's not as frustrated as, because I know an injury like that can just cause that.
Same thing. We're being just very, whatever the word, I don't know if it's careful or cautious. We're just being smart with her approach back, and you know, she's not fully clear to do contact yet, so that'll come hopefully in a few weeks. But you know, I think, and like you said, the mental side of it. So she's worked with Dr. Cook and like all of our guys that have been injured and coming back with just, the mental aspect of it, not being frustrated, but also just not being timid. And sometimes you come back and you're scared to do something again. So we kind of approach it from both ways, the physical side, the rehab, the strength, and then also the mindset with our sports psychologist. So she's coming along, but yeah, she's not 100% yet.
You've had a guard-oriented team here, not always by design, but do you feel like you can roll out a little bit more size this year?
Yeah, I think we can. It's going to depend on their progression and their productivity in terms of, Letty, Haven, Manuela, Naomi, and then, Cece is big, but she's more of a guard, but we could play her at the 5. So I think we have a ton of flexibility at what we do, but then we can also go 4 guards and play Barry at the 4, with the big guard. So we have, the nice thing is we have options, but I also thought I had options last summer, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Take it one day at a time, see how people progress, come back from injuries, see how people progress in their development. But again, this year we kind of built this team knowing we haven't been long, we haven't been tall the past 3 years. We tried to get bigger. We were intentional with that in recruiting. So I just like our flexibility and our players' versatility. We have a lot of people that can play multiple positions, and the more positionless we can be, the better.
It's in the rear view. How do you put in perspective Barry's freshman year, and she missed like a handful of weeks in the middle of that? Like, when you reflect on it, what do you think about that?
She had an unbelievable freshman year. One of the better freshman years in a while that I've seen, and just her growth, her ability to just come in and not be fazed by a lot of things is something that's really hard to do, especially as a freshman when you're kind of put in and under that pressure. So I was extremely, happy with her, and I love this summer. She's been really shooting the ball at an elite level. Her handle's gotten tighter, so now, that was a big focus. We want her to be able to, again, even if she's at the 4, the wing, whatever it is, we want her to be a guard with the ability to post her up and do different things. So great freshman season, obviously, huge role for us, made big time, and she won us games on some of those big time plays she made. Even in the Creighton game, you can go back that rebound. I mean, that was like the deal breaker there. So. And now I'm just excited for her sophomore year and to see the growth and now that she knows what it's like to go through a Big Ten season, she knows now, and we need her, and she knows that, and she's been great, and she's been working and really improving in a lot of areas to be even more versatile, which is great.
With a player like Maddie from Villanova, bringing her in with some experience, what can that do for you, and was that kind of something you were looking for when you were in the portal and trying to recruit players?
Definitely. We needed experience, and I liked her because obviously, number one, she can score. She has great length, and she came from a system that is it's a system you need a high basketball IQ. She can score at all 3 levels, and then I also like that she was a junior, that she had a couple more years left, and not just 1 year left, because we're so young. So she's been great. She has an elite motor, someone that just never takes a play off. She's continued to be really, really coachable. Again, a lot of new things, footwork. She's playing off ball screens. Villanova didn't really play off ball screens. They were a different system than that. And then really carrying stuff over. So she's been really fun to watch. Her and Barry have been doing individuals in our practices. That's kind of their group. And it's been fun to see them push each other, and Barry lead her some, and then Maddie, so I think they have been great for one another. And then we go 5-on-5 when we have gone some live stuff, and you can start seeing Maddie's ability to make plays and her ability to score the ball. So I'm really excited about her as well, especially with her length, and she can defend, which is great.
How'd her name come across your desk? Like Aaliyah, obviously we knew, but what was the moment you kind of were put on to her?
We were just, like always, I mean, the portal comes, we're looking at it constantly, and when I saw her name, we were again evaluating we needed another wing, really. We needed a scoring, but we needed size. And I remember her just from, obviously, she didn't play against us in the WBIT, but from watching their games. And then I just respect Villanova and their system. Then you look at her stats. And then as soon as I started watching film, you know. And we do that a lot. They're like, okay, this kid, and I started watching her. Some kids I don't even get to watch and film, like it's not for us. As soon as I started watching her clips, I'm like, I love this kid. And then I talked to her, and I told our staff, like, we need her. So it went really quick, the recruiting. Her and I, you know, my first conversation with her, just really felt like her personality, what she wanted, who she was, her core values aligned with what and who I am and who our program is. When we got her here, and she didn't go on any other visits, and she had some high-level schools recruiting her. So I saw the film and saw what she could do, and I'm like, this is a great piece to try to build that puzzle.
I don't want to overlook Jazz real quick, just because she did so much for you
Yeah.
guys last year. What can she build on from last year with her most meaningful minutes and now going into this season?
Yeah, you know, Jazz last year, she just, like you said, she did so much for us. She defended, you know, her and Dal defended the best two players. Jazz ran point. You know, she played this, she did that. Like, she did hit some big time shots, hit threes. I mean, she just does a little bit of everything. But she's progressed even, and I think that she feels so much more confident now, which is key. Her defense she's going to be called upon to guard some of the best players, but her scoring, that's where I'm ready and excited about that next step of her to be a consistent scorer, because she's fully capable of doing it, and I've seen some of that this summer. So I also really like how she's been vocal and really done a great job with the leadership this year, really kind of taking people under her wing. We'll speak up, we'll tell them what, so that's been really big. So yeah, we need her to have she had a great season last year, but we need her to up her game too and produce even more, which I know she's gonna be ready to do.
I was just about to ask about leadership. You mentioned Jazz. Who else has stepped up in that capacity? Who else would you like to see step up?
Yeah, you know, they've all really done a good job of doing more, talking more. Like I said, they're so used to just being able to follow those guys, but now they realize, okay, well, no other voices are here. We need to get a huddle. We need to talk. We need to do this. So I think all of our returners, in their own way, have really had their moments to step up. We have a leadership group that Dr. Cook runs, and there's 7 in that. So it's just really, you know, it's going to be a growth process. It's going to be a journey in that. And it was when we got here 3 years ago. We didn't have those. And there was still things last year where, you know, we were still trying to teach them to be better leaders. So I think they all know it, and they're making a conscious effort to be more vocal.
Has anyone